I have fought against white domination and I fought against black domination. I've cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunity. It is an idea I hope to live for and to achieve, but if need be, it is an idea for which I'm prepared to die. Those were the exact words of Nelson Mandela back in 2002 at the 90th birthday of one of his fellow revolutionaries, Walter Sisulu. I believe you may have heard the name Nelson Mandela at least once or multiple times if you are somebody who's interested in the history of civil rights struggle. But if you haven't, that's fine. Nelson Mandela was a great statesman and the first black president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was a man with exceptional character, and his resolve for social justice was as solid as the Rock of Gibraltar. To the people of South Africa, Mandela was a light in the darkness, but to the rest of the world, his story is an amazing embodiment of absolute and unimaginable selflessness. I first heard about Mandela back in 1994 when he became president, but I was too young to understand why my father, who lives in a country thousands of miles away from South Africa, would be yelling at his children to keep quiet just to listen to the inaugural address of a newly elected foreign president on his old radio that he always carried. But as I grew up, I picked up interest in the story of Mandela after watching a documentary about his struggle, his courage, and his absolute sacrifice to humanity. Even though Mandela was a civil rights champion of South Africa, his legacy as a freedom fighter and a civil rights activist is highly respected all around the world in the civil rights movement community. In this speech, I'm going to take you through how Mandela bravely and selflessly fought for the freedom of the South African people first. And secondly, I will give you some amazing account of his extraordinary commitment to social justice. And then finally, I will shed light on some of the impact of his legacy on the people of South Africa and the world in general. To begin, Nelson Mandela bravely and selflessly fought for the freedom of the South African people by standing up to a brutally oppressive apartheid regime. He abandoned his law profession to fight for social justice. He sacrificed his personal freedom for the masses by going to prison for 27 years in demand for social justice. He risked his life by staging protests against an oppressive regime that has no regard for social justice. After prison, Mandela showed no sign of backing down to injustice and oppression until the government agreed to create a free and fair political environment for the participation of all South Africans. Now that we've seen how Mandela stood up to injustice in South Africa, let's now look at how solid and firm his commitment to social equality was. Mandela's extraordinary commitment to social justice was demonstrated by his opposition to the idea of black supremacy as suggested by some members of the freedom movement. He argued that both white supremacy and black supremacy were divisive ideologies that should have no place in the South Africa he wanted to see. He was always open to dialogue with the government on issues surrounding social equality at the disapproval of some members of the freedom movement who wanted no cooperation whatsoever with the government. When he became president in 1994, he surprisingly formed a unity government that included not only members of the opposition party, but some members of the oppressive apartheid regime that was defeated in the election. And those appointments met fierce resistance within the party. But he argued that his dream for a united South Africa was bigger than any petty retaliatory action against some minority group of people. Now that we've seen how solid his commitment to social equality was, let's now look at some of the impact of his legacy on the South African society and the world at large. Mandela made an important impact on the people of South Africa and the world in general. He helped to defeat apartheid regime in South Africa and free the native people from oppression. His civil rights struggle gave birth to a new South Africa where black and white, rich and poor, native and alien can live together peacefully with justice for all. President Obama, in his tribute to Mandela in 2013, said this, and I quote, "Like many people around the world, including myself, I can't imagine my life without the example set by Mandela. And as long as I live, I will do everything I can to learn from him." End of quote. The former British Prime Minister David Cameron also said this of Mandela: "One of the brightest lights of our world has gone out. Mandela was not just a hero of our time, but a hero of all time." The United Nations General Assembly, in commemoration of his legacy, declared May 18 of every year as Nelson Mandela International Day, which is celebrated all around the world to honor his memory. In summary, Mandela's selfless commitment to social justice was unwavering, that he opposed the idea of retaliation against members of the apartheid regime. He argued that his dream for a united South Africa was bigger than retaliation against apartheid regime members, and that any retaliation was a distraction to his bigger dream for the country. He was a brave man with exceptional character whose boldness astonished many people of his time. Having been intimidated, arrested, and incarcerated a million times before his final trial in 1963, he showed no sign of fear at his trial when he openly told his audience that he would definitely resume his struggle after serving his sentence. Mandela made a tremendous impact on the people of South Africa and the world at large. He fought and defeated systemic racism in South Africa, giving hope to the people for a better future. He put the destiny of the people in their own hands and created an environment for justice and equal rights. For many people around the world, Mandela remains a symbol of hope that indeed a single individual can change an entire society. His service to humanity earned him respect among world leaders. That the United Nations General Assembly declared an international holiday in his honor.